rocking like a baby in the car. I put the water in the ocean in the city that I'm from.
What's goody, guys? Welcome back to Wine Hour Books with your girl Kay. So as you can see by the title, we are reviewing The Housemaid. This is the third book in the series. I was super excited to read this book. It came out in June. It came out June of this year, right? I think it was June 11th. Anyways, I just want to say I apologize. I was supposed to drop a video in June, but I just been busy with life and I haven't had time to do YouTube. So I do apologize, especially to everyone who, watch my videos and support me. I appreciate it. Trying to make a comeback, trying to just figure out my schedule. But I really appreciate you guys supporting me. Those who write me on my videos, comment, subscribing. Really appreciate the love. So, I'm trying to drop more videos. Life is lifing, but I hope all of you guys are doing good. Shout out to the people who just been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you guys. But anyways, let's just jump into the book, right? So I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to give you a little background on what happened. As you know, the Housemaid series is one of my favorite thriller series. Some people don't like it, some people do. But out of Frida's, all the Frida book, I really enjoy these books, right? So the third book takes place now where the family, Millie and Enzo, as y'all know, Millie and Enzo is together. So they finally have the opportunity to relocate to a house. They move out of their Bronx apartment. So they move to Long Island into a house. It's Millie's dream house. She's super excited. They have two kids, Nico and Ada. And they're just one big happy family. Millie is in her 40s now, so is Enzo. So she's super excited to just finally have a place that she could call her own. We all know Millie's history. We don't have to recap that. If you don't know, then go back to watch my first and second videos of the Housemaid series to catch up. Right? So they meet on the first day. Millie meets one of her new neighbors named Suzette Lowell. Suzette has like an extravagant house next door to them. She's rich. She has a husband, Mr. Lowell. He's a little creepy. Not a little, he is creepy, right? And off rip, Suzette, I don't like Suzette's character. Like, Millie goes to introduce herself to Suzette. They chat woo-de-woo. Enzo comes over. Suzette starts flirting with Enzo in front of Millie's face, and Millie just standing there taking it. And that's the part that just kept getting me tight with Millie, because the author wrote Millie so, like, I don't want to say timid, but so scary in this book, like, to the point where she's suppressing everything that she wants to say. I'm like, that's not the Millie who developed from book 1 to book 2. So the fact that the author allowed Millie's character to let a lot of stuff slide, that did not sit right with me. Because I'm like, bro, Suzette would have really got bop right in her face because she's mad disrespectful, touching on Enzo and all that. And then Enzo, on top of that, well, I can't get mad at Enzo's character because Enzo's character has remained the same. Like, he knows women flirt with him. He knows he looks good. And 9 out of 10 times, Millie never got, like, upset when women flirt with Enzo because she know how good, her husband looked. And it never went past, innocent flirting, we'll say. But it was something about Suzette that was just, she was doing too much, right? So they get to talking. Suzette invites them over for dinner the next night, and then also Suzette tells her to watch out for the neighbor across the street, right? So Millie's like, she's not trying to get in any drama. She wants to figure out the neighbors for herself. She wants to, form her own opinions, right? So the next day, Nico and Ada is the oldest. She's 11. Nico is 9. They start a new school, so they have anxiety. And worry about that, right? So she walks them to the bus stop, and there she meets the nosy neighbor from across the street and her son, right? Her son name, I believe it was Spencer. And Nico and Spencer hit it off. They talk and communicate, and then here come the nosy neighbor, like, oh, you need to stay away from Suzette. Watch your husband around Suzette. Suzette basically bad mouthing Suzette, all that. So Millie's like, if anything, Suzette told me to watch out for you. And then here come the nosy neighbor across the street. So I forgot her name, but that's what we're gonna call her. She telling Millie like, oh, you're a bad mother for working. You should stay at home with your kids. Your kids need undivided attention. How can you give your children the nourishment, the support that they need if you're off working and you're not home to meet your kids after school? Like, she was going in, and it's just like, what? honey, what are you talking about? And then she had her son on a leash, like big 9-year-old boy on a leash. His backpack was a leash. And that's because she's like, oh, somebody could take your kids. She's mad paranoid. Somebody could take your kids. There was a kid who disappeared a couple towns over, and you're not a good mom, right? So Millie's like, excuse me, mind you, again, Millie did not put this lady in her place. And I'm like, since when? Like, why is the author writing her character so scary? Like, it was making me mad. But again, I get it, Millie just moved. She's trying to keep the peace. She's trying to make friends. Well, I don't think she cared about making friends. She's just trying to be cordial with people. So I could get why the author wrote her as to, you know, suppressing what she really wanted to say, right? So then that same day, you know, they went to once the kids got home from school, Enzo got home from work, they went to Suzette's house for dinner. Then Suzette was really trying to play my girl Millie at dinner. So you know how rich people, or just, we gonna say rich people, they have like forks for salads, etiquette, people who's really into etiquette, right? Food place and all that. I'm not just gonna say rich people. I'm just gonna say people who's into etiquette, right? You have your salad fork, your salad fork, your fork for eating, your knives, different knife, spoons. I don't got time for that. Give me a fork, spoon, and a knife, and I'm good to go, right? But at Suzette's house, she has like the placement. And Millie, okay, we know Millie's background. Millie doesn't come from a background like that, but she has worked for people, rich people. But again, she doesn't come from a background where she had to know what the difference between a fork and a dinner fork is, right? A salad fork and a dinner fork, whatever. So she gets to the dinner. She uses the wrong fork. Here comes Suzette. Oh, patronizing too. Oh, Millie, you're using the dinner fork for the salad fork. Millie's like, huh? Like, she don't really give a damn, but you know, it made Millie feel embarrassed. And then all of a sudden, like, Enzo acting brand new. Like, Enzo, I don't think Enzo, I can't remember if Enzo laughed or whatever, but he wasn't defending Millie in that instance because he was using the wrong fork too. He didn't know, but yet when Suzette was coming at Millie mad hard at the dinner table, Enzo wasn't saying nothing but digging into his food. The food was good, and then he wasn't saying anything. So Suzette just kept coming at my girl Millie, and then on top of that, Suzette had the nerve to make one of Enzo's cultural dish. I forgot what it's called, some type of pasta. And then Enzo was like, oh, this is the best I've ever tasted, reminded me of home. And then here comes Suzette, oh, Millie doesn't cook this for you? And then here comes Enzo, but he said like Millie doesn't cook something like that. And I'm like, Enzo, like, what's wrong with you? And on top of that, Suzette is flirting with Enzo right in front of her husband. Her husband's not saying a word. And I thought it was strange because I'm like, all right, if the husband's not saying a word and this is the second time that Suzette done flirted with Enzo in front of him, something's up. So that's a red flag right there. Anyways, they also meet Martha. Martha is Suzette's housemaid. And Martha just coming off with the weird vibes. Like, she keeps staring at Millie. She keeps like, it's just giving off weird vibes, and then she's like basically trying to push herself into Millie's household because Suzette was like, oh, we have a cleaner. Well, Martha just lost a cleaning job. She could clean for you guys with the woo. So then Millie's like, you know, I could clean. Like, we don't really have the money for all that. Like, I'm good to go. Enzo decides to hire Martha behind Millie back anyway. So Martha had pulled up to their house. What was it, like that following Thursday? And Millie's just like to Enzo, like, what's good with you? Like, why won't you tell me? But Enzo had a good reason. He's like, you know, you always cleaning for people. You need people to help you, just to give you a break. So I respect it. But Enzo started like moving funny with Millie. And also to mention at the dinner table, Suzette had made a comment like to Enzo, like, oh, ask him about, you know, coming over to look at her backyard because Enzo does gardening. Enzo's trying to move his business from the city to Long Island. You know, Suzette is a real estate agent, so she got connections. So when they talking about Enzo's business and gardening, Enzo was about to, you know, confirm with Millie that he could go over to Suzette's house to take a look at the backyard. Before Enzo could tell Millie, Suzette jumps in and is like, oh, you don't have to ask your wife for permission, right? And Enzo looks at Millie and was like, oh no, like, I come see. And I'm like, Enzo, like, you letting this woman get into your marriage? Like, are you crazy? So Millie's sitting there taken back. So now she's pissed. I would be pissed too. So anyways, so Millie understood that Enzo had to build his business, right? So Enzo all of a sudden now he's going over to Suzette's house. He's in the backyard, but he's not telling Millie when he's going over. He's having secret conversations with Suzette. Or every time Millie turns around, legit Enzo is hiding something from her or talking to Suzette in a secret manner and lying about it. Now he's becoming a liar, right? And then on top of that, Martha, the maid, Millie has caught her stealing from her, right? First it was $50, and then Enzo was like, she didn't catch her stealing $50, but $50 went missing. Enzo asked Millie about it. Millie said she didn't take it, but prior to that, Millie had caught her stealing something, and then Millie ended up finding her stealing a necklace one day when she came back from work, whatever, right? So it's all that coming into play. So Millie ends up firing Martha, right? On top of that, you know, Nico likes baseball. So their son Nico, he came to Long Island a happy child. He likes baseball. He was hitting the baseball in the backyard. He ended up breaking Suzette's window. They don't have the money to pay for that expensive window, so Millie suggests that Nico could go over to their house to do chores, right? So as Nico's starting to go over to the house to do chores, you know, his behavior starts declining. Like he's more angry. He was on the baseball team. He got kicked off the baseball team for fighting. He's fighting in school. Like, all these is coming to play. And, you know, as Millie as a social worker, she missed a lot of cues. But again, I think it's a little hard when it comes to your children because, you know, children do go through different developmental stage of their life. They go through different transitions. So it's hard to really pinpoint. But it's just like, we can't really, I understood when Millie, like, she could have missed that because she couldn't really, you can't really correlate how it is written in the book that Nico going over to that house equated to, you know, his behavior changing, right? But his behavior changing. And then, you know, they have the daughter. She's very well up to herself, very independent. She likes to read. She likes to stay home. She likes to stay by herself. But she's going through a lot of emotions that she suppressed because she's like the happy child. She's always the good child. She's their essential golden child, right? While Nico, he's a little out there. He's more wild, he's more risk taker, he's more like Enzo. So all of that's coming to play, and then, you know, Nico and Ada's really close. So Nico starts pulling away from Ada, and Ada's like, don't know how to deal with it, but she knows something is up. So fast forward, you know, Millie's getting her suspicion now that Enzo is spending more time with Suzette, and he's lying about it. At one point, she has smelled perfume on him, and she's basically like, you know, at first I trusted that you would have never cheated on me, but you're cheating on me. And Enzo keeps denying it. But as I'm reading the book, I'm like, Enzo, you really cheating, bro? You know Millie will kill you? And Enzo at one point makes that statement like, why would I cheat on you? I know you would kill me. Millie's like, yeah, but, you know, his actions wasn't lining up. So long story short now, Millie goes over to the neighbor's house looking for... No, before she went over there, she came home one day. She was looking for Enzo for something. She went to the neighbor's house. She goes inside the neighbor's house. She's looking around and she sees Suzette's husband dead in the house. So he was stabbed. She runs out. She goes to Enzo. She goes in the house. She sees Enzo clean up blood, his shirt covered in blood, everything covered in blood. She's like, oh my gosh, like Enzo killed the husband. She tells Enzo, like, I forgot his name, Mr. Lowell. His last name is Mr. Lowell. I forgot his first name. In the house dead. Enzo looks up like, oh, I didn't do it. I cut my hand. That's why I'm bleeding. Millie's like, show me the cut. He shows her the cut, and she was like, that cut wouldn't equate to that much blood. So now she tells him, like, you know, I'm about to call the police. Well, I mean, the police is on their way. Go change your clothes, go hide, wooty woo. So long story short, the police arrived. They go to the house. They come to the house. They question. She tells them, like, yeah, I went over there. I found him dead. I came over to the house to go get my phone because my phone was here to call the police. And then I realized that the police was on the way. Wooty woo. right? Long story short, the nosy ass neighbor across the whole the road was like, oh yeah, I saw Millie leave it into the house, but she was only there a couple of seconds. But her husband, which is Enzo, entered the house prior to that, and I heard arguing, and after the arguing, you know, I didn't see him leave and all that. So now Enzo is a prime suspect for murder, and you know, he's trying to clear his innocence. And then I don't even want to spoil this part. The rest of the part I don't want to spoil, right? But because if I do spoil it, like, you're probably gonna get the gist of it. But anyways, long story short, you know, Enzo is now working to clear his name. What I will say, because I'm gonna stop right here, what I will say is I like how the author incorporated pieces from the first book into this third book. Like, the connections between the characters was really well written. I will give her that. I enjoyed the connections. I enjoyed the plot twist at the end. Maybe some people may have seen it coming, but only because of the storyline. Like, when it comes to, you know, Nico, Ada, and Enzo, you will see that coming. But the plot twist at the end, I did not see that coming. So I'll give her that. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like, I give her that. This wasn't my favorite book out of the series. I think my favorite book out of the series will always be book 1. It go 1, 2, 3. My favorite. 1, 2, 3. It go in that order. So I would rate this book a 3.5 out of 5. I'm gonna give this one a 3.5 out of 5. The only reason why I say that, because again, I didn't like how Millie character was written throughout the book. Like, it was given like she was just mad scary, and it just wasn't given the Millie from book 1 and book 2. Like, we know how headstrong, how determined, how fierce Millie is from book 1 and book 2. That book 3 did not give that for Millie. Book 3 gave, she became older, she became more relaxed, more reserved, more timid. Like, she was just missing a lot of signs that she would normally see. And maybe that's from her having kids, because I think at one point she didn't mention that in the book, like, she became a little slow, but it just wasn't giving Millie, like the Millie that we knew, and which is why my rating is a little low. And then Enzo, like, just being totally different from book 1 and book 2, it wasn't given that, because that was like not out of the character for him. It's like, I get, like, a lot of his excuses had to do with, in the book, Millie has high blood pressure, so a lot of his excuses was, oh, because your blood pressure, but it's just like, that wasn't justification for me enough for what Enzo was doing. I'm sorry, but Enzo's a provider, he's a caretaker, but it's just like, he was just being mad secretive from the person that we met in book 1 and book 2, where he's very open. Well, in book 1 he wasn't really open, but book 2, you know, they developed a real connection where he was very vulnerable and shared a lot. But this Enzo was mad secretive, and I just didn't like that. I did like the daughter Ada. Because, you know, Ada, they always underestimate the quiet ones in terms of, like, they think she's like shy and very reserved, in which she is, but she's very strong-willed, so I like that. I think the children characters were written very well, so I do agree. But a lot of characters from the first and second book were interconnected, and that's why I could say I'm gonna give my rating 3.5. If you read this book, drop in the comments and let me know what you think about the series. I don't know if she'll come out with another book. Maybe not. I don't think so. The way this book ended, I don't think there should be another book unless it leads with the children now. But we shall see, to be determined. But anyways, I'm not sure what the next book review is, but I am going to film another video for you guys, probably right after this one. And yeah, thank you. Drop your book recs in the comment section. I think I have like one or two more review that somebody suggested for me to read. I haven't gotten those books yet. But that's probably because I can't find them. But other than that, appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time.